She threw a BBQ party on my ranch, so I unleashed the bison on her guests. Most people think justice is served in courtrooms. Sometimes, though, justice wears hooves. I'm Elijah Monroe, fourth-generation rancher, born and bred in the Montana plains. My family's land spans over 600 acres of pasture, pine, and memory. We raise cattle, some sheep, and my personal pride, a herd of wild bison I've been reintroducing for ecological restoration. Gentle giants, unless provoked. I don't get in people's business. I raise animals, mine fences, and teach my nephew the trade. So when I sold 10 acres on the southern edge of the ranch to a property developer 5 years ago, I didn't expect trouble, just new neighbors. What I got was Karen Longhurst, self-declared president of the faux HOA she invented 2 weeks after moving in. At first, it was little things flyers taped to my mailbox saying my barn was a visual blight, or complaints about my rooster crowing too early. I ignored them. I figured she'd run out of steam. I was wrong. Because last month, she crossed a line I couldn't ignore. It was a Saturday morning. I saddled up and rode the fence line like I always do. That's when I saw barbecue smoke and music thumping from somewhere it had no business being. At first, I thought maybe one of my ranch hands was throwing a bash, but the closer I got, the clearer it became. She had broken the padlock on my back gate. Karen had invited over 50 people onto my land, setting up tents, a sound system, a bounce house, and even a margarita machine. Kids ran wild near the pasture fence, and someone had tied balloons to my hay bales. And in the middle of it all, Karen, wearing a sash that said Stone Hills HOA president, was laughing into a mic like she was running for office. I dismounted, approached calmly. "You're trespassing." She glanced at me without turning off the mic. "Oh, this is community land now. Your field was zoned shared use under our HOA charter." "Your HOA isn't real," I said, trying to stay calm. "This is my ranch. You broke a locked gate." "Well," she sneered, "maybe if you joined our community, you'd be more cooperative." I looked over at my bison grazing peacefully on the far end, then back at the mess in my field. That was the last warning Karen would ever get. By evening, I had gathered 3 of my ranch hands and cut a clean path from the bison pasture to the party. A quiet release of the central gate. No words, no threats, just hooves. The herd, over 40 strong, thundered through the field like a living force of nature. They weren't violent, just territorial. And loud. Screams erupted as guests ran for cover. Tables overturned. Margarita mix flew through the air. Someone's grill caught fire when it tipped. And Karen dove into the bounce house and deflated it from the inside. That thing folded around her like a tragic metaphor. By the time I whistled the herd back, yes, they know the call, she was soaked in spilled punch, holding a single corn cob like it was a peace treaty. The fallout came fast. Neighbors were furious, not at me, but at her. Turns out, she'd lied to them, saying she had community ownership of the land. She'd printed fake maps and even collected event dues from everyone, hundreds of dollars. Local news got wind of it. One headline read, "Bison Stampede. Halts HOA cookout on private land rancher. Hailed a hero." She tried to press charges, but the sheriff, he's my cousin, he simply said, "Karen, you broke onto his land. That herd was already there." Civil court wasn't kind to her either. I sued for trespassing, damages, and emotional harassment. The judge who grew up eating my grandfather's beef awarded full damages. She now owes me $37,000. But the real victory, Karen lost her imaginary title. The neighbors she manipulated turned against her. The HOA she fabricated dissolved overnight. People started bringing me pie, thanking me for standing up for what's right. I even offered to build a real community picnic area on neutral land where we now gather monthly, without lies or fake titles. And the bison. They got extra oats and a new salt lick that week. So no, justice doesn't always wear a robe. Sometimes it wears horns and thunder. And sometimes the best way to stop a fake HOA president is to let nature do the talking. The end.